Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to ask everybody to take your seats. You're going to hear from our city's mayor, Mayor Marty Walsh, in a couple of seconds. So please, everybody take your seats so he can give you a couple of words. My honor, my pleasure to introduce the Mayor of Boston, Marty Walsh.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Let me just start by thanking Tanya Del Rio, our Director of the Office of Women's Advancement, who's done an amazing job here in the city of Boston, working on a whole host of issues. And today's topic, obviously, is probably the most important. But I want to thank Tanya and her team for the great work that she does. Thank you, Tanya. I want to thank the members of the Boston Police Department for all the great work that you've done and are doing here. You're amazing. This table in the middle, I think Donna must be here and some other folks. So I just want to have a nice round of applause for our police department. We have work to do, but we're doing some incredible work. Thank you. One of my heroes, Sherry Jimenez from the Eva Center, and all the local partners. I want to thank Sheriff Steve Tompkins, who's with us today, for his incredible work on re-entry and what we're doing with our prison system here in Boston and Suffolk County. To all the visitors visiting from the United States and all over the world, thank you for coming here. There's so many. We have South America, we have Sweden, we have Germany, I shouldn't have started, France, and I know we have other countries. I apologize if I don't mention you, but thank you so much for being here as well today. Judge Coffey's with us today. Thank you, Judge, for being with us today. Before I'm trying to think how do I get started. I have a speech in front of me, and I usually don't do the speech. I know it's lunchtime, and I want to thank you all for staying here, and I'm going to talk briefly so you can go back to the work that's important for what you're doing here today. I want to give a couple more shout-outs. One is to a person who I used to, well, we still do, watch on the big screen, but I was at the Aspen Ideas Festival, and there was different conferences, and I was watching this woman go into different sessions, civic engagement sessions, and then I was impressed with, did a little research on her to see what she does in her private life when she's not working. And Ashley Judd is here, and I want to thank Ashley Judd for being in Boston with us today. And there are a lot of different organizations in this room that I depend upon, and a lot of us in the city depend upon, and I can't shut all of you out, but I want to thank each and every one of you for the work that you do, whether it's nonprofits, whether it's clergy, whether it's fighting against trafficking, whether it's recovery, addiction, whatever it is, public safety. I want to thank all of you for the work you do in our city. You make our city incredible. And how about a round of applause? Give yourself a round of applause for the great work that you do. I just came back from LA. I was in LA for a 3-day conference, city to city. And as a good Bostonian, we obviously are very competitive. So every time they talked about they did something, I said, well, we do it better. And I was listening, and I realized, you know, on the different issues that we're fighting, whether it's LA or Boston or wherever it is in America, it's about leadership. And the leadership, not necessarily in the mayor's office, the leadership in the cities. And what I thought was incredible about LA was the network of nonprofits and the support that they're doing in different areas of the city of LA to combat so many different things. And it is about that. But it's also about elected leadership. It's about making sure that your mayors and your town managers and your city councilors and your legislators step up to the plate and do what's right. And I don't think in some cases we need to pass that message around the country. Because when I go to a conference like this in Boston or somewhere else, it's inevitable somebody will come up to me, and somebody came up to me today and say, you have to talk to our mayor because our mayor's not as vested. So it's important for us to make sure that we understand that what we're doing is work from the ground to the top, from the top to the ground. There's no leader in this. We're all in this together. The issue is big. The issue is important. The issue is for us to continue to fight forward. Your goal, most of your goal in this room today, and certainly our goal in the administration, is to end exploitation and help survivors heal. There is people in this room that have done this work long before I was a mayor. Maybe even long before I was a state representative. You've been doing this work for a long time. This has been a major focus of what we're doing in the administration in working with our network partners. In the last 5 years since we launched Cease Boston, we've made some decent strides, some big strides. We recognize that this is an issue of gender equity. The vast majority of people who are exploited are women and girls, and they're often forced into this work. And identifying and understanding that, oh, there's Donna. Identifying that and understanding that is so important. At the same time, buyers make the choice to support an industry that's damaging people and entire communities. We need to stay focused on enforcement efforts on buyers. We need to ramp up support and protection for our survivors. That is the key to what a lot of us are doing. We created a coalition with law enforcement, nonprofits, faith leaders, employers, and more importantly, survivors. We held training with community partners and training with elected officials that will listen and come and learn about what we're talking about. We held a hackathon to disrupt online trafficking. We work with our Attorney General's office, Maura Healey's office, to get business to adopt a zero tolerance policy in the workplaces. And we should give a special shout out to Maura Healey, who's done some amazing work here in the United States, but leading the way here in Massachusetts. We've built stronger supports for our survivors who need an exit strategy. And I want to thank Sherry for that. We're making sure that women and young women and all women feel safe about asking for help. We're making sure that as we do our training in our police department, Lisa Holmes started it when she was the superintendent there, and now Superintendent Carter is going to continue that to understand, to explain to our officers, to train them. I want to thank the Boston Police Department for the incredible work they do on building trust. Now our job is to make sure that all 2,200 officers understand what we're trying to do here in the city of Boston. Women being trafficked are not criminals. Women who are being trafficked are not criminals. They're victims. And it's important for us to continue to work and to continue to get the message out. We can't normalize that. We can't joke about that. We need to continue to work collectively together on that. There's many situations that I know personally now of a young kid that grew up in Dorchester, got addicted to OxyContin, got addicted to heroin, and before you know that, their body's being sold for money so they can keep their habit going. That was not their goal in life. That was not their dream in life. A couple of those people that I know personally were able to get help. One young lady, I went to her wake. She died of an overdose, and I thought to myself when I knelt down, it was right when I became the mayor, I was saying a prayer at the coffin. I was thinking to myself, I knew she was a struggling addict. I didn't know that people said that she was out, they used the word working.av. And I thought to myself, I saw a picture of high school. She was a beautiful young person with so much opportunity and promise. We need to continue to collectively work together for the people that are out there. And we need to also make sure that we prevent and stop this industry ever, just eliminate it. We have an opportunity, we can actually eliminate the industry. It's big, it's tough, it's hard. But the Cease Network and our partners, both here at a national level and clearly on a worldwide level that are here with us today, is really important. I got an invitation in 2015 to go to the Vatican. I told this story before, and I went to the Vatican. And the Pope wanted to meet with mayors from around the world, and there was about 4 mayors from the United States, and there was a bunch of mayors from all over the world. And the topics were climate change and the sex trafficking trade. And the Pope was talking about, it wasn't a religious aspect of it, he was talking as a human being, saying that we need to continue to do more. And that was a great conversation. But I don't think we've made enough gains around the world yet to really combat what he was talking about that day. So in Boston, we need to amplify the work that we're doing. We need to continue to move forward. The work that you're doing here, I know sometimes it gets frustrating. But I want to commend all of you. Don't get frustrated, because you are doing more than other places, and sometimes you might say that's not enough. It might not be enough right now, but what you're doing is you're setting an example for a city next door to us, or a city across the ocean from us, to look to our lead, to understand how do we work better together. Be happy with where your progress is, and we're going to continue to move forward with you to work to make better progress. That is what our goal is. In the city, we have a new female leader of our Family Justice Unit, Captain Teresa Comiskey. She's advancing the police department's #1 goal, protecting the most vulnerable in society. We're also going to be working to increase additional officers trained to treat commercial sexual exploitation as gender-based violence, similar to domestic violence and sexual assault. We're going to continue to work and continue to educate our own team. This is a very complex issue. We're trying to address it in a very thoughtful, responsible way. In all of our efforts, we're making sure, and it's important for us to make sure that the survivor's voice gets heard. We're working to prevent people from being trafficked in the first place, as I mentioned a minute ago. And we're deploying the resources they need to heal and thrive. We need to help people with the resources to heal. And we need to make sure that not only do they heal, but they thrive as individuals. Our ultimate goal is to end exploitation once and for all. Today, we want to learn from other cities and countries that we have addressed, and that you have addressed these issues in different various ways. There is no playbook to this. There is all of us sharing best practices, best ideas, because every single individual that we come across that is being exploited is a different human being. And the way to work with them is a different way. There's not a system that you can work with everybody. And the care and the help and the support they need are very different from each person. So we need to understand that and listen and learn from each other today about little things we can pick up. We also want to hear what hasn't worked, and I think in Boston we want to explain to you what we've done that hasn't worked, quite honestly. So that you don't make the same, or you can make the same, maybe when you do it'll work, but the same calls on what we're doing, how we move forward. We want to hear about what other communities have to offer, and we also want to hear about where it's not happening. Because there is an opportunity, as a mayor of a city who's part of a U.S. Conference of Mayors, where we have almost every mayor in America part of this organization, Sheriff Tompkins, part of an association on the national level where every sheriff in the country is part of. We have Maura Healey, who's the Attorney General, who's part of an association where every Attorney General is part of in the country. We have Rachel Rawlings, who's the District Attorney, who every single District Attorney in the country is part of an association. And the same for Commissioner Gross. We have an opportunity to take the work that you're doing here and amplify it around the country and put it out there and let people know how important it is. And while we have to do something about it as leaders, it's not just simply about filling potholes and lighting Christmas trees and fixing lights. It's about working to improve the quality of life of the people in our city. All of the people in our city, regardless of who they are, where they come from, what their situation is, we need to make sure that they can be safe and feel safe in their own city. So we need to continue to work there. We need to continue to support all of our survivors. We want to create a more equitable society here in Boston and around the country. This is how we empower our marginalized. It's how we break the cycle of violence and trauma, and all of you here today are part of it. I wanted to say thank you for letting me come here and say a few words. I'm going to leave here in a few minutes and go to another meeting. But I know the work that's happening right here isn't doing the same. I know the work that you're doing, each and every one of you in this room, is having long impacts on somebody's life. So from the bottom of my heart, and Steve Tompkins and all the other elected officials, and Tanya from our Office of Women's Advancements, I want to thank you all for being here today, having this very important dialogue, conversation, idea sharing session, and we are going to continue to work strong to help people. Thank you.